there are more people here than I was told would be here. So I knew Jim pretty much.
You got your pink shirt, and is that jelly beans?
Jelly beans, yeah. So I was told it was a celebration of life, and my experience with Jim in celebrations was mostly his attendance at my dad's annual 4th of July party, and Jim really went for it then. So I had asked Jill prior to coming out here, hey, if I'm going to wear a pink shirt and a jelly bean tie at the celebration, is that taking the bean too far? And she said, no, that's fine, so good. But so, like I said, I knew Jim mostly as I grew up through childhood, when he would come over for different family events when he wasn't living around the world. But he also lived around the world. And when you're a kid, you look forward to 2 days in the year: your birthday and Christmas. Jim was my brother David's godfather, so I look forward to Christmas and David's birthday. Because David would always get the coolest stuff sent to him from Uncle Jim. And you never knew what it was, but you knew it was going to be awesome. And as David's older brother, I could claim domain over most or part of the gift. And he did send David really cool stuff. Jim had a like of new technology when things came out. We were one of the first families that I knew of in my group of friends that got a VCR. Absolutely one of my best memories of Jim is he would send us VHS tapes with 3 movies on each one. The first tape he sent us, which I don't think I ever let out of my possession, was it had Star Trek, Star Wars, and Empire Strikes Back on it. And I was a huge Star Wars fan, and that tape meant I could go from paying $2 every time I wanted to rent Star Wars to I just get to watch it as many times as I want, which was awesome. But the first time I saw Jim after he sent us the tape, I'm like, Uncle Jim, I'm not trying to complain, but really? Star Trek? Star Wars and Empire? You couldn't go Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi? And he's like, Bob, you're too young to understand, but I can't get Return of the Jedi yet. But when I can, you'll get a tape on it. And that came later. The second best tape that Jim sent me, which when we first got it, I think it was meant more for my dad than us, but as I aged into this tape, it became something that made making friends easier in high school. It had Stripes, Blues Brothers, and Animal House on it. And that was awesome. Jim was the perfect foil as an in-law for the Dewanes. My dad and his dad, and my Uncle Dan, and to a lesser extent my Uncle Mike, loved having fun. Weren't necessarily as concerned about the safety and sensibility side of it. Jim was. So Jim really liked to have fun, but was always, I think, somewhat, whoa, that's how you guys do it? So my dad used to throw these annual parties on the 4th of July. Big things. He invited, I think, everyone he knew, which seemed like a lot of people when I was in grade school and high school. And the first time he did it, he got a big pile of fireworks from one of his clients, and we shot them all off. And it was kind of like a free-for-all. If you've never seen a lot of adults and kids running around with shooting off fireworks randomly, it's a sight. Jim was really taken by the whole thing, and at one point, I don't remember when it was in the process, but he said to Pat, hey Pat, would you mind if I took over the fireworks display? It's like, I got some really great ideas. I'll set it to music and everything, it'll be awesome. And I just thought, this is gonna be great, because Uncle Jim will do it, right? And Uncle Jim came, and it got bigger and better every year. I remember him asking Dad one year, hey Pat, what kind of permits do I need to shoot stuff off with? My dad's answer was, you don't need anything. This is private property. I have since, in my role as a judge, learned that answer is not entirely correct. But it's all Jim needed to hear. The last story I have about Jim also had to do with the party. Pat's uncle Bob Lockington is New Zealand, right?
New Zealand.
Yeah, from New Zealand. And he came to the party. He always thought the party was a shindig. And so he said to Pat, hey, Pat, you know what would really make this party special is if we did a hunging. Show of hands if you didn't attend the hunging. Who knows what a hunging is? You can't answer. So a hunging is a traditional New Zealand kind of thing where you dig this giant pit. You put hot rocks, or you put rocks, wood, coal down at the bottom of it. You put food in wet burlap bags, you put that in there, you fill the pit, food cooks, and then at some point, brave souls got to get on the dirt, dig it off, and free the food. Me and my friends were put in charge of digging the pit, which I thought was the worst part of the job, and I complained incessantly. And my dad's like, you're fine. You're not going to be the guys digging it out when it's 100 degrees in there. I mean, whatever. So, day of the event comes. We had dug the hole. Bob lights it on fire. Food goes on. Me and my friends are throwing the dirt back on. And Jim came up to me, and Jim's like, hey, isn't this great? I mean, this is exciting. Where else can you do something like this? And I'm like, are you actually going to be digging the food out? And he's like, yeah, but I wanted to talk to you about that. Because I heard your dad tell you your job is to stand there with a hose, and as the guys say they're getting too hot, hose them down. Don't do that for me, because I don't want to be boiled alive. He's like, if I get too hot, I'm just going to get out of the pit and cool off. I'll get back in. Do not put water on me, because they were wearing like layers of clothes and steaming themselves up and whatever. So I'm like, okay, Jim. And it ended up being absolutely the best food we ever had at the party, but lots of work. And it was just another example of Jim wanting to be safe during the party, not wanting to be steamed alive with the rest of the family. But Jim was awesome. I kind of, like a lot of my sense of humor and a lot of trying to find the humor and everything comes from conversations with Jim, because Jim's like, Bob, you come from a family of really serious people. And just so you know, you don't have to be serious all the time. It's okay to smile, and it's okay to kind of, get through life happy. And so, I tried to do that, and it looks like a bunch of you have as well. So I'm very sorry that Jim is gone. I'm very thankful to have known Jim. I'm super thankful that David was Jim's godson, and I got a lot of cool stuff out of it. Thanks everybody for coming.